享受的就在无知无觉中。
那第一任空间密室主人比上我却还差一些。
化为尘埃。
后辈们，哭吧，也能让人的后辈
留个言再走吧。
后来人知晓，留给有得一遇的机遇。这可是百年难的陷阱，可不能让别人抢。
你该不会只是来喝茶的吧？宝蠕虫之主，无面前破平本事。
What's up guys, welcome back to Alrasta channel. Here, I will share spoilers for SwallowedStar episode 235. Just a quick reminder, this breakdown is based on the novel, so expect some slight differences from the Donghua version. Alright, without further ado, let's dive right into the story. As soon as Clear Eye Master realized Luofeng was nearby, she attacked without warning. She immediately unleashed her soul illusion technique, combining it with the clear light mirror to form a giant phantom eye in the sky. At the same time, she launched a physical attack in the shape of a dragon monster that shot sharply toward Luofeng. Relying on his deep understanding of the beast god path, Luofeng casually swung his golden claws, tearing through space and time. He crushed the dragon's head to pieces, stopping the enemy's true treasure attack in an instant. Shocked that her first attack was broken, Clear Eye Master tried to unleash her ultimate move, the clear extermination of reincarnation. But with incredible speed, Luofeng easily dodged it and immediately launched a counterattack, punching Clear Eye Master right in the head and slamming her deep into a giant rock. Clear Eye Master crawled out of the crater in utter disbelief, realizing that the strongest soul attack she was always so proud of was completely useless against Luofeng. The fight continued as Luofeng's silver armor transformed into the terrifying form of the Blade Beast God, completely covered in sharp blades. Showing no mercy, Luofeng unleashed a series of incredibly fierce close combat attacks, causing the ground of the giant rock to shake violently and crack in all directions. Because Clear Eye Master's physical attacks were far below his level, the white-robed figure was pushed to the absolute limit and forced to unleash the full power of her pinnacle domain-type true treasure. A thick wave of cyan light suddenly covered the battlefield, slowing down Luofeng's movements and giving Clear Eye Master a chance to escape while holding back her deep humiliation. Clear Eye Master's frustration peaked because she just couldn't wrap her head around how a newbie could withstand her famously deadly soul attacks. Unbeknownst to his enemy, Luofeng was actually relying on the double defense of the crazy demon extermination godly armor and the absolute protection of the supreme true treasure tower pearl inside his body. Even though he totally dominated the fight, Luofeng deliberately held back from using the Shiwu wings so he wouldn't stir up any suspicion about his relationship with Zuo Shanke. After watching Clear Eye Master leave in massive disappointment, Luofeng decided to immediately head toward his main goal in the giant pillar area. Clear Eye Master's defeat in this close-quarters battle instantly shocked the dozens of Universe Masters who were watching from a distance, including Swallowhawk Master. The news of the defeat of one of the most feared entities quickly spread, eventually reaching 5 Chaos Master and Anyong Master, who were crossing the Eternal Snow region in the internal domain of the Universe Boat. The failure of Clear Eye Master's soul attack made 5 Chaos Masters speculate that Luofeng was likely using his Mosha body, which is immune to soul attacks. This made him even more anxious because he couldn't predict Luofeng's next move or goal. Ignoring the uproar and speculation spreading across the Universe Ocean, Luofeng went straight to exploring the area around the 16 giant pillars. Armed with the black token he snatched from 5 Chaos Master, he spent half a month scanning the secret resonance waves from pillar to pillar. His persistent efforts finally paid off when he felt a growing sense of attraction as he approached one of the mysterious black-towered buildings around the pillar area. In front of him now stood a massive structure with grand architecture called the Secret Space Chamber, which was just as big as the floating rocks around it. This mysterious building had absolute protection. No entity, not even a true god, could ever breach or destroy it without the right token. Gripping the black token in his hand, Luofeng stepped forward, and magically, his body phased right through the thick walls of the building with ease. As soon as he successfully entered the secret space chamber, Luofeng was greeted by an incredibly vast, separate dimension that seemed to stretch on endlessly. On the surface of the cleanly cut stone walls nestled among the mountains, there were thousands of ancient engravings and secret technique diagrams left behind by the previous owners of the room. Through the secret information transmitted from the writings, Luofeng learned about the footsteps of the pioneer warriors, starting from 9 Mortal Master as the first owner, then Sparrow Spring, all the way to Imperial Eye Master, who was the 193rd Space Master, and the one who started the tradition of creating maps for the danger zones in the universe ocean. Along the giant stone walls, the journeys of tens of thousands of Space Masters, former owners of the room from era to era, were engraved, showcasing a variety of unique personalities. Some owners were generous enough to share their techniques and maps of the dangerous areas in the 3 deadliest places, while there were also malicious figures like Piercing Master, the 1928th owner, who purposely ruined the accumulated maps just to make things harder for the next generations. Witnessing the priceless legacy of these great entities who had now been swallowed by time, Luofeng reflected on the grand and long history neatly preserved within this secret room. Luofeng walked along the giant cliffs inside the secret space chamber, admiring the thousands of secret technique engravings left by tens of thousands of Space Masters spanning across tens of thousands of universe eras. Even though most of the engravings came from universe masters and only a few from true gods, the uniqueness and brilliance of those techniques still left Luofeng in awe. Among the carvings, he read an inscription from the 20,293rd Space Master named Feng Guling, a true god who had left behind his strongest armor, the crazy demon extermination godly armor. He also saw a message from the 20,294th Space Master, 5 Chaos Master, who claimed to have inherited that treasure along with his strongest technique, the 5 Beast Great Extermination. Seeing 5 Chaos Masters' note about the inherited treasure, Luofeng immediately flew into the sky and activated the Shiwu wings. He unleashed his Golden Country domain to scan the entire independent dimension. Unfortunately, there were no physical treasures left behind by 5 Chaos Master there. Instead, there was only a black crystal pillar standing majestically on a mountain peak. That black crystal pillar was the most valuable treasure in this room because it contained the accumulated maps of the 3 lands of Extremis, namely Flowing Countless Mountain, Universe Boat, and Tilted Peak Realm, which had been researched and perfected by nearly 900 Space Masters passed down through the generations. When Luofeng channeled his divine power into the black crystal pillar, a highly detailed 3-dimensional map image instantly appeared in his mind. Although some past Space Masters had deliberately damaged parts of the map, the contributions of hundreds of great entities including Feng Guling made this map way more complete and accurate than the map of the universe boat left behind by Jiefanzi. Without hesitation, Luofeng immediately made his own contribution by inputting all the geographic data he had into the black crystal pillar to make the information even more complete. The existence of this incredibly detailed map made Luofeng extremely thrilled because his main problem of retrieving Jiefanzi's precious legacy was now solved. Previously, Luofeng was hesitant to explore the green keepsake space area on the outskirts of the universe boat's core area since it was too dangerous, even with the protection of the Star Tower and the Shiwu wings. But with the safe route guidelines from this new map, the result of the accumulation of 900 Space Masters, his journey into the deepest regions to gather precious materials to fix his white wings became much more guaranteed and safe. Before leaving the secret room, Luofeng carved a new inscription on the stone wall by projecting his golden willpower, officially establishing himself as the 20,295th Space Master with the title Milky Way Horde Leader. In his carving, he wrote down his success in killing 5 Chaos Master and seizing the crazy demon extermination godly armor and the black keepsake. Considering he had only been cultivating for a few tens of thousands of years, a very short time compared to the long history of the universe ocean, Luofeng smiled with full confidence, pondering whether he would eventually be swallowed by time or successfully create an eternal Holy Land universe. After coming out of the secret space chamber, Luofeng decided not to join the crowded number 2 black-striped stone pillar or get close to the Blood Orchid Ancestors' territory. He chose to fly toward the number 11 black-striped stone pillar, which was quiet and free from the presence of other entities. There, Luofeng landed on a giant rock orbiting the pillar and released his Mosha body, which had disguised itself as an ordinary rock. He hid it inside a canyon so it couldn't be detected by sight or by any enemy's domain-type true treasure. By hiding his Mosha body in that canyon, Luofeng let his disguised body continuously sharpen its willpower under the relentless mental pressure of the giant pillar until it reached the true god level. Meanwhile, his original body shot off, leaving the black-striped stone pillar area to begin a new adventure toward the deepest region of the universe boat. Armed with the latest map and high courage, Luofeng was ready to pierce through various dangers to retrieve the legacy inside the green keepsake space and solidify his position in the universe ocean. After leaving the black-striped stone pillars area, Luofeng continued his journey to the deepest region of the universe boat, which held far more deadly perils. In this area, extreme natural phenomena, like blasts of freezing dark blue wind that could shatter the bodies of universe masters, were the main threats that often claimed victims. The danger level in this increasingly deep internal domain had even surpassed the full attack power of a true god, making this place a red zone even for a true god. In the midst of the freezing storm and the barrage of flying rocks capable of destroying a top-tier palace-type true treasure, Luofeng was actually enjoying a very comfortable ride from inside the control room of the Star Tower. While relaxing on a soft sofa and sipping warm tea brewed by his wife, Xu Xin, Luofeng felt incredibly lucky to have obtained the super-detailed map from the secret space chamber. Without the safe route directions from that map, not even with the durability of the Star Tower, would he dare to risk barging into the most dangerous areas of the universe boat. While his original body charged into the deepest regions, Luofeng efficiently managed the division of all his clones and bodies in various places. His remote ocean body stood guard in the original universe and occasionally visited Bauhinia Island in the ancestral god sect, while his divine power form continued to study the secret engravings on the 9th level of the deep abyss. On the other hand, Luofeng's Mosha body, disguised as a rock in an area with a time acceleration of over 3,000 times, stayed focused on endlessly forging its willpower. Through his consciousness connected to the virtual universe, Luofeng met his master, Primal Chaos City Leader, at the peak of Thunder Island. As his master approached, Luofeng noticed a massive aura of change, visualizations of the creation and destruction of worlds surrounding his master. This indicated that Primal Chaos City Leader had just successfully made a crucial breakthrough toward the true god level. Luofeng immediately offered his sincere congratulations on his master's incredible achievement of getting closer to the highest peak. Luofeng's main goal in meeting his master was to hand over a copy of the map covering the 3 most dangerous places in the universe ocean: Flowing Countless Mountain, Universe Boat, and Tilted Peak Realm. Primal Chaos City Leader was completely stunned and shocked when he saw the map's accuracy, which far surpassed the collections owned by the human race and even the 2 Holy Land universes. Luofeng then explained that this priceless map was a precious legacy successfully perfected by nearly 900 space masters passed down through generations inside the secret room. Filled with joy, Primal Chaos City Leader immediately took the precious map to hand it over to Huge Axe Creator. Huge Axe Creator burst into roaring laughter when he saw such a complete map, knowing this information would greatly help his explorations in the Tilted Peak realm and boost the treasure acquisition for the entire human race. For this massive golden contribution that would heavily impact the faction's future, Huge Axe Creator and Primal Chaos City Leader agreed to reward Luofeng with 20,000 contribution points. This massive achievement further cemented Luofeng's name as a legendary figure bringing new glory to the human faction, standing on par with the footsteps of his predecessors. With a super complete map in hand and Primal Chaos City Leader's potential inching closer to the true god level, the human faction was now looking at the future with high optimism. The combined strength of Huge Axe Creator, Primal Chaos City Leader, and Luofeng even began to open up great hopes for the human race to one day free their legendary creator, Ancestor Yuan, from his eternal confinement. In the deepest part of the universe boat's inner region, there was a highly dangerous area called the Flame Ice region, sandwiched between a lava ocean in the sky and a black swamp at the bottom. Boiling lava falling from the sky instantly froze into soft rocks resembling liquid mercury, forming an ocean of black swamp. Without warning, giant bubbles and violent turbulence suddenly erupted from the bottom of the swamp, triggering incredibly strong space and time tremors across the entire extreme area. This rare phenomenon was immediately detected by 3 powerful entities from the Divine Eye clan faction who were 10 light-years away from the scene: Shadow Dust Master, Sorcerer Sprite Master, and Golden Square Master. Realizing that the intense turbulence in the Flame Ice region signaled the appearance of a high-tier treasure or a major event, the 3 of them immediately pushed their tower-shaped flying palaces through the boundaries of the lava and swamp, heading straight for the center of the tremors. The stable space and time tremors in this dangerous area also caught the attention of other exploring powerful entities, including an expert riding a pyramid-shaped palace. Meanwhile, Luofeng, who was chilling and drinking green tea inside the Star Tower's control room, also felt the anomaly. Considering he hadn't found a peak natural treasure in his 1,000 years of exploring the universe boat, Luofeng decided to immediately change course and head toward the location. Because teleportation was impossible in the Flame Ice region, Luofeng had to fly manually, which took nearly a month. Halfway there, Luofeng's true treasure domain, the Snow Fire Sector, suddenly clashed with another entity's ice domain. Through a divine power transmission, it was revealed that the domain's owner was Deerbug Master, an extremely powerful Tier 6 Universe Master from the Purple Moon Holy Land Universe faction, wearing the supreme true treasure, Deerbug Godly Armor. Since they shared the same goal of investigating the phenomenon in the Flame Ice region, Luofeng and Deerbug Master agreed to travel together to the target location. 3 days later, the two finally arrived at the center of the turbulence and saw several true treasure palaces already gathered and hovering in the sky. The Pyramid Palace was already there, along with the palaces belonging to Shadow Dust Master and Sorcerer Sprite Master from the Divine Eye clan, greeting their arrival. Under the watchful eyes of the experts, a spectacular scene unfolded as a giant ancient black ship, over 10 billion kilometers long, slowly emerged from the bottom of the black swamp. The thick swamp fluid dripped heavily from the giant ship's hull, creating massive waves that shook the entire surrounding swamp ocean. The sheer scale and majestic aura emitted by this colossal structure left all the Universe Masters present completely stunned. Luofeng carefully observed the form of this ancient relic until he finally realized that the giant structure was the legendary boat of Mausoleum. According to the ancient records of the human race, a mausoleum was the final resting place for tens of thousands of the strongest entities from the ancient era. It held priceless treasures and was incredibly difficult to enter, even for a true god. The appearance of the boat of Mausoleum was guaranteed to trigger a new bloody rivalry among the true god warriors in the universe ocean. The emergence of the giant black ship continued, lifting most of the black swamp fluid around it, and creating a spectacular yet highly intimidating sight for all the entities present. Realizing that the human race didn't have complete records on how to conquer this legendary relic, Luofeng secretly contacted Deerbug Master to dig up hidden information regarding the secrets of the boat of Mausoleum. Deerbug Master agreed to the request on the condition that Luofeng would ally with him during the initial phase. After all, Deerbug Master had come alone without the backup of other Purple Moon Holy Land members in the Flame Ice region, and was worried about being ganged up on. Luofeng agreed to this temporary cooperation pact to watch each other's backs in public, but he firmly stated that they would fight for themselves once the main treasure was right in front of them. Through that secret info, Deerbug Master revealed that the boat of Mausoleum wasn't actually a regular true treasure that could be claimed via life imprints. It was a transportation vessel created by the ancient civilization that built the universe boat. Although it couldn't perfectly dampen physical attacks like a palace true treasure, the ship's unique material structure made it completely immune to soul attacks. So, anyone who wanted to control it had to go inside and find the core control room. The ship's doors would usually open automatically once its entire body was lifted from the swamp. Though there were historical records where treasure forging experts had to use special techniques to trigger its opening. Deerbug Master also spilled the beans that the boat of Mausoleum could hold up to 36 entities entering the ancient tomb area, but once it successfully brought them inside, the ship would break free from control and return to wandering the universe ocean. As the emergence process dragged on, the first ancestral god sect and the Skeleton Clan factions also arrived at the battlefield. A Skeleton Clan representative tried to force the ship to recognize him as its owner by imprinting his life force on it, which instantly drew harsh mockery from the Divine Eye Clan faction. This then sparked a fierce dispute between the two powerful factions from the first reincarnation era, who had indeed been longtime enemies. After half a month passed, a total of 5 major powers had gathered to stake out the area: the Divine Eye Clan, the Skeleton Clan, the First Ancestral God Sect, the Purple Moon Holy Land, and Luofeng representing the human race. The long-awaited moment finally arrived when the base of the boat of Mausoleum was fully lifted from the black swamp and hovered in the air, accompanied by strong vibrations as the cabin doors started to open. Receiving an instant signal from Deerbug Master, Luofeng immediately drove the Star Tower to fly side by side with his temporary ally's Pyramid Palace toward the cabin doors. Seeing the rapid movements of Luofeng and Deerbug Master, the other factions didn't hesitate to burn their divine power and fly their respective palace true treasures up to 100 times the speed of light, desperately fighting for access to enter the legendary ship. The 5 power groups, Luofeng, Deerbug Master, the Divine Eye Clan, the Skeleton Clan, and the Ancestral God Sect, shot like flashes of light across the void toward the slowly opening doors of the boat of Mausoleum. Realizing that Deerbug Master had the deepest understanding and the most dominant strength, The other factions immediately allied to gang up on him just to slow his speed. A coordinated assault featuring a giant broadsword from the first ancestral god sect, dozens of illusionary butterflies, and a white whirlwind from the Skeleton Clan and Divine Eye Clan were smashed simultaneously toward Deerbug Master. Meanwhile, Luofeng was intentionally left alone, because they assumed he didn't know the ship's internal layout. Taking the relentless barrage head-on, Deerbug Master instantly activated his supreme true treasure, the Deerbug Godly Armor, transforming his body into a giant black-scaled monster with hundreds of claws and a cyanide scorpion tail. With a mighty roar from its deer-like head, the monster unleashed a shockwave that shattered all the joint enemy attacks to pieces. In the midst of the chaos, Deerbug Master sent a secret message to Luofeng to keep following him. Acting smart, Luofeng chose to keep pushing forward, ignoring the enemies shouting for him to help stall Deerbug Master. Even though he was constantly bombarded by devastating attacks from the Divine Eye Clan, the Skeleton Clan, and the first ancestral god sect, who were trying hard to hold him back, Deerbug Master's slightly slowed momentum actually created an opening for Luofeng. Darting like red lightning, Luofeng managed to overtake Deerbug Master and became the very first entity to pierce into the cabin hallway of the boat of Mausoleum. Not long after, Deerbug Master and the 4 other enemy universe masters also breached the giant ship's gates simultaneously. Once they made it past the entrance hallway, the universe masters exited their respective Pinnacle Palace true treasures and arrived in a massive, empty hall spanning 100 million kilometers. Surrounding the hall were dozens of confusing branching corridors, which made Luofeng hesitate for a second about which direction to take so he wouldn't lose track of the core control. However, thanks to the lead of Deerbug Master, who immediately flew into one of the secret corridors, Luofeng didn't hesitate to tail him closely. They were chased by Shadow Dust Master, Sorcerer Sprite Master, Liu Ju Master, and Jittery Sea Master, who fired off long-range attacks as they pursued. As the 6 entities sped through the winding corridor, Deerbug Master used his horns to smash into a secret mechanism on the side wall. The impact triggered a massive giant stone gate to drop down, completely sealing off the hallway access behind them. This quick move instantly isolated the 4 universe masters chasing from the rear, abruptly cutting off their efforts to stop Deerbug Master and snatch the main relic. Behind the tightly shut stone gate, the entities from the Divine Eye Clan and Skeleton Clan factions vented their frustration and blamed each other for failing to corner Deerbug Master. After Sorcerer Sprite Master tried bashing the gate and found its structure wouldn't budge at all, they finally decided to split up. They moved quickly to find other alternative corridors inside the boat of Mausoleum before Deerbug Master could close off any more paths. Meanwhile, Deerbug Master, having returned to his human form, continued the journey with Luofeng, walking down the main corridor toward the deepest area. With the casual attitude typical of an eternal Holy Land universe resident, Deerbug Master revealed that the real competition had just begun since they had arrived right in front of the core control room. He warned Luofeng that inside the main control room, anyone who wanted the entire legacy of the boat of Mausoleum would have to put their life on the line and prove their worth. There were only 2 options left: successfully claim the ship, or die a tragic death. Luofeng and Deerbug Master stepped through a grand gold and cyan door that radiated a noble aura, entering the control room of the boat of Mausoleum. Since he didn't know the exact shape of the core control, Luofeng took a reckless move by spreading his divine power to every corner of the room, trying to bind every object in sight using his life imprints. But this crude method was immediately mocked by Deerbug Master, who made it clear that taking over the core control of an ancient civilization ship like this was way more complicated than basic energy binding. Relying on his knowledge of the strict hierarchy of ancient civilizations, which always placed the main control room in the owner's residence, Deerbug Master confidently started scanning every corner of the massive hall. However, coming up empty-handed made his expression change drastically from full of arrogance to utter shock and fury. Deerbug Master's high hopes of claiming the boat of Mausoleum, an unrivaled vessel with a value rivaling a palace supreme true treasure, were instantly shattered because the core control he was looking for wasn't in the room at all. Just as Luofeng was poking fun at that miscalculation, the 4 other universe masters, Shadow Dust Master, Sorcerer Sprite Master, Jittery Sea Master, and Liu Ju Master, suddenly burst into the control room through an alternate route. Sorcerer Sprite Master from the Divine Eye Clan immediately deployed a secret verification technique, splattering drops of golden blood all over the room to detect any hidden mechanisms. But this ancient technique also ended in total failure, leaving the 6 universe masters gathered there in absolute confusion. Amidst all that confusion, an invisible force suddenly gathered above an ancient throne at the upper end of the hall. The energy slowly converged to form the projection of a man with cyan hair and yellow skin, wearing a simple armor engraved with flowing river patterns. He was known as Duandong River Wu. The appearance of this figure instantly shocked everyone, especially because the title Wu at the end of his name signified a highly respected and top-tier status within the ancient civilization that built the universe boat. The figure of Duandong River Wu then explained that his projection was just a recorded message from the past, left behind after he fell in a highly dangerous final expedition with his general. Not wanting the legacy of the Duandong River lineage, which had been accumulated over hundreds of generations, to just die out, he had specially modified this boat of Mausoleum. The giant ship was transformed into a trial ground and an inheritance site to find the one and only worthy successor to continue his lineage of techniques. The projection then delivered a terrifying warning to the 6 universe masters present, giving them one last chance to back out. Duandong River Wu made it clear that once they took another step and touched even the slightest bit of his grand inheritance, the trial rules would turn totally lethal. Only one entity would have the right to walk out alive as the true successor, while all the other participants who failed along the way were guaranteed to be completely and absolutely wiped out of existence. After the message disappeared from the throne, the atmosphere in the hall was instantly engulfed in extreme, suffocating tension. Luofeng and the other 5 universe masters realized just how precious and intact inheritance from this ancient civilization was, considering the Divine Eye Clan's success in claiming a similar legacy in the past, had made their 7 true masters utterly dominant in the universe ocean. Now, with the risk of total death looming right before their eyes, these peak entities were faced with a life and death choice in the battle for the greatest inheritance in history. Then what happened next? Alright, thanks for watching until the very end, and don't forget to keep supporting this channel by leaving a comment, dropping a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, bye!
后辈们，哭吧，永远的后辈！
留个言再走吧。
后人之心，留给有得一遇的亲友。这可是百年难得陷阱，可不能让别人抢。
你该不会只是来喝茶的吧？哦，客官这种不面前。